So Krishna fell in a trance, feeling separation from Vrindavan and from Radha in particular. And Narad appeared on the scene in Dwarka, and Uddhava came, and others. Balaram came. What to do? Krishna's passed out, he's in a trance, and the nature of this trance is he's thinking of Radha's love for him, and how she's feeling separation, and it's causing him pain, and so then what to do? So, idea came, well, Narada, why don't you sing something about the Braj Leela? Narada Muni Bajai Bina Radhika Ramana Name. So he began to sing like this. But there was a concern. Well, what happens when he wakes up? Here you're going to sing the Braj Leela and bring him to external consciousness, but when he wakes up, he'd be in Dwarka. There could be a shock to his system. What to do? Said, well, or he may wake up in the Braj Bab and find himself in Dwarka, and he could short circuit. So Dwarka and Vrindavan, they just don't quite go together. They're at odds with one another. This Jagannath Puri is a train crash of religious conceptions. The crash between Dwarka and Brajalila. And see Krishna's condition. He's all bent out of shape. In Dwarka. In Jagannath Puri. So, the idea came, well, look, we'd build these chariots. And build a chariot, bring Krishna's chariot with Daruka, and then have it all ready to go to the Braj. Let's just take him there. And Balaram, we just take him there, and then Uddhava said, that's a great idea. I mean, he'll really like that, but might be a problem for us because he might not come back. Anyway, Balaram said he should go. And you should go, it was advised by Narad, ahead of time and prepare the Brajbasis, because what's happening here is Krishna's fallen into such a trance because he knows they may die. Radha herself, she may die. If she dies, everyone in Vrindavan will die. Everyone in Vrindavan is attached to Radha. They all have Sanchari Bhav for Radha, while their Sthayi Bhav is for Krishna. Their dominant emotion for Krishna, and an auxiliary emotion in friendship with Radha. And she's the queen of Vrindavan, Vrindavaneshwari. If she dies, then what? She's the real leader in bhakti there. So, Balaram said, we've got to get him there. And then, as I say, it was advised, Uddhava, you go ahead and let them know. It's okay, don't die, he's coming. So Uddhava said, that's a great idea, I should go ahead and tell them, but there's a slight problem, I went there before. Krishna sent me there before, and I went to pacify them, and I was unsuccessful. I met them there, the gopis, they were all just crying and crying and crying. And I thought to say, don't cry. But then I thought, that doesn't work. People are attached to something material and they lose it and they cry, so then you say, don't cry, it's okay. You give them some philosophy and a broader perspective. It works. I was a kid and I fell in love with a girl when I was, 6th grade or something like that, and then it didn't work out. I never talked to her. It wasn't like that in those days. People drew hearts on the bus. It was in a cold area, and so and so loved so and so, and didn't work out, and I cried. My mother said, "Anyway, life's bigger than this," and she gave me a little philosophy, bigger picture. So it works. But Uddhava said, this doesn't work, because what are you going to tell them? What's the bigger picture? They're crying for Krishna. I tell them, don't cry for Krishna, because what? What can I say? You're supposed to be attached to Krishna. They're so attached to Krishna that in his absence they're just crying and crying. How can I stop them from crying? What kind of philosophy can I give them? Uddhava was a big philosopher. That's the point. He went there to give a philosophical message to the gopis, to tell them, don't cry, Krishna is everywhere. Why should you cry? There's no need for separation. God is everywhere. How do you think that sounded to the gopis? They said, what do you know about anything? Get out of here. You're supposed to be a learned person in Scripture. Anyway, who cares for the Scripture? And Uddhava realized, these people, they're beyond the Scripture. Shruti-bir bim-rigyam. He said, I can't understand what is Vrindavan. What is the devotion? He realized, Krishna sent me here to learn something. And I thought I was learned, a big tattva-vid. Here, when I see this, I realize I know nothing. What is love of God? Oh my God. He said, I wandered around for a couple of months in Vrindavan singing different songs, wishing I could take birth as a blade of grass here just to be inspired by this kind of devotion. Now, if I go back there now, they're not going to listen to me. I was unsuccessful. So then he said, all right, yeah, what to do? So Balarama was just, you go, Balarama. You're one of them. You go there. Son of Rohini. Balarama said, well, that's a good idea, but I also went there, you may know. I also went there. It's mentioned in Bhagavatam. I brought a message. I talked to Nanda Maharaj. I talked to the gopis, and so forth. And when it was all said and done, they were living on my promise that Krishna would come back. And this Krishna, I mean, he's my younger brother. He always does whatever I tell him, as a younger brother should from the older brother. Good advice. But for some reason, whenever I tell him to go back to the brother, he says, yeah, I'll go. I'm going. But he never goes. This way, that's the one thing I can't stand about my brother. Can't stand it. I tell him the condition of the people. He says he'll go. He doesn't go. And he puts me in this position. If I go back and I tell him, Krishna's coming, they say, hey, you told us that years ago. He didn't come. We're dying, okay? That's it. We can't take it anymore. So, okay then. Subhadra came. Subhadra volunteered. I will go. I'm a lady. I can talk to Mother Yashoda. I know the hearts of ladies. I can talk to the gopis. I can go ahead. I can tell them, hold off. Krishna's coming. So get me a chariot. And Balarama said, well, I'm coming too. You go ahead and let them know. And tell them, we're on the way. Maybe we got distracted by big armies and, people paying obeisances and darshans, but tell them Krishna is definitely coming. And she said, I'll go, but I can't lead the way. So Balarama said, okay, I'll lead the way. Then you come. And then Krishna will come behind. This is traditionally how the Ratha Yatra proceeds in Puri. Balarama is first, then Subhadra, then Jagannath.